From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang. Malacañang on Monday announced the suspension of work in all government offices from noon onwards on Holy Wednesday, March 27th, to allow state employees to prepare for the observance of Holy Thursday and Good Friday. Under Memorandum Circular or MC number 45, signed by Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, the palace said the half-day work on Holy Wednesday aims to provide government employees full opportunity to observe Maundy Thursday and Good Friday and to allow them to travel to and from the different regions in the country. MC 45, however, stipulates that agencies whose functions involve the delivery of basic and health services, preparedness or response to disasters and calamities, and or the performance of other vital services shall continue with their operations and render the necessary services. The suspension of work in private companies and offices, meanwhile, is left to the sound discretion of their respective employers. Authorities are bracing for the exodus of commuters as Filipinos rush to the provinces for the annual observance of the Holy Week.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines Presidential Communications Office, or PCO, on Monday said President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and First Lady Marie Louise Araneta Marcos are now in excellent health, with the Chief Executive resuming his public duties on Tuesday. In a social media post, the PCO said the President and the First Lady have completely recovered from their flu-like symptoms and are now in excellent health. It added that both the President and First Lady's attending physician has confirmed that they are free from all symptoms, enabling them to promptly return to their regular duties effective immediately. The first couple developed flu-like symptoms following their full schedule last week and were advised to take fluids and medication to alleviate their symptoms. They were also advised by their attending physician to get some rest to ensure their speedy recovery. President Marcos, together with the First Lady, arrived March 16th from Europe after conducting successful visits in Germany and the Czech Republic. The chief executive had full schedules early last week, including attending the World Economic Forum, or WEF, and welcoming United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Malacañang.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday offered his thoughts and prayers for Catherine, the Princess of Wales, following her cancer diagnosis. In a statement, the President wishes for the Princess of Wales good health and continued healing, and for the strength of her family during this difficult period. The Princess Catherine, revealed she has been diagnosed with cancer and is in the early stages of treatment after undergoing abdominal surgery in January. It was reported that the 42-year-old Kate began chemotherapy in late February. Kate and Prince William have 3 children: Prince George, who is 10, Princess Charlotte, who's 8, and Prince Louis, 5. Kate's diagnosis comes after King Charles III was also diagnosed with cancer after a procedure for an enlarged prostate.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines had received support from numerous countries condemning the aggressive and dangerous actions of the China Coast Guard or CCG in the West Philippine Sea or WPS on March 23rd when they water cannoned Philippine supply vessel en route to 2nd Thomas Shoal or Ayungin Shoal, causing heavy damage to the ship. In a report on Saturday, the Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP said the CCG fired water cannon at a Philippine supply vessel en route to Ayungin Shoal for a rotation and resupply or RORE mission, damaging the vessel. In a statement, the European Union or EU's spokesperson expressed its concern, saying that the succession of repeated dangerous maneuvers, blocking and water cannoning from Chinese Coast Guard vessel and maritime militia against Philippine vessel engaged in resupply missions constituted a dangerous provocation against the Philippines vessels. The statement added that these acts put human lives at risk, undermine regional stability and international norms, and threaten security in the region and beyond. The EU has called for restraint and full respect of the relevant international rules so as to ensure the peaceful resolution of differences and reduction of tensions in the region. United States Ambassador to the Philippines, Mary Kay Carlson, also expressed her statement of support to the Philippines on recent China's actions. In a social media post, Ambassador Carlson said, "The U.S. stands with the Philippines against the People's Republic of China's repeated dangerous maneuvers and water cannons to disrupt Philippine Coast Guard lawful activities in the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone or EEZ." United Kingdom's Ambassador Laurie Beofils, on the other hand, also condemned China's harassment of Philippine vessels in the West Philippine Sea, saying this endangered lives and resulted in significant damage to a civilian vessel. Meanwhile, Ambassador Endo Kazuya of Japan said his country reiterates its grave concern on the repeated dangerous actions by CCG in the South China Sea, which resulted in Filipino injuries. Other countries who have expressed support to the Philippines include Germany, France, Canada, Australia, the Czech Republic, Denmark, Finland, Hungary, Italy, South Korea, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Poland, Romania, Spain, and Sweden.
Dateline Malacañang.
A Philippine lawmaker has encouraged overseas Filipino workers or OFWs in Kuwait to avail of the Kuwaiti government's visa amnesty program, which allows people with expired visas to rectify their status by settling fines or leave the country without paying penalties. House Committee on Overseas Workers Affairs Chairperson Ron Salo said, the 3-month amnesty program, which runs from the 17th of March to the 17th of June, provides a lifeline for those in violation of residency laws to either regularize their residency status or safely return to their home countries and avoid harsher penalties. In a statement, Salo said, his office is actively coordinating with the Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, and Officer in Charge Undersecretary Hans Leo Magpayo to assist Filipinos in availing of this amnesty. Congressman Salo also announced that he will visit the Gulf state after the Ramadan celebrations from the 20th to the 23rd of April to assess the living conditions of Filipinos, aid in the bilateral discussions between the Philippines and Kuwait, and provide insights on lifting the ban. The DMW on February 8, 2023, issued Advisory Number 5, which suspended the deployment of first-time OFWs bound for Kuwait, following the murder of OFW Julebi Ranara. The State of Kuwait's appeal court has fully adopted the guilty verdict and sentenced the 17-year-old suspect to 1 year in prison for driving without a license and 15 years in prison for murder.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, confirmed that there were no Filipinos affected by the shooting incident in a Moscow concert hall. According to the DFA, this was reported by the Embassy of the Philippines in Moscow. Despite this, the Philippines strongly condemns the horrific attack on innocent civilians. In a statement by the DFA, the Philippines extended its condolences to the families that was affected by the tragedy, where over 100 lives were taken, more than 200 injured, and destroyed properties. The Philippines expects those hurt or injured to recover from the said incident. To recall, a group of armed men entered the Crocus City Hall on Friday evening, a well-known concert venue in Moscow, and started shooting civilians. More than 130 people have died, while hundreds were injured.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, the Philippines Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, has teamed up with the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, or OWA, and other stakeholders to ramp up its voter registration activities for Filipinos abroad. During the signing of the Memorandum of Agreement, or MOA, between the Commission's Office for Overseas Voting, or OFOV, OWA, the Fraternal Order of Eagles, Rotary Club International District 3810, and the Associated Marine Officers and Seamen's Union of the Philippines, or AMASOP, at the COMELEC main office in Manila, COMELEC Chairperson George Erwin Garcia said he is hopeful of getting 2 million new overseas voters in addition to the current 1 million registered overseas voters. Garcia said, of the 1.697 million registered overseas voters in the May 2022 elections, almost 600,000 voted, or only 40.59% participated in the polls. The poll body chief added that around 600,000 voter names have been deactivated. Voter registration will run until the 30th of September. At the same time, Garcia reiterated that the internet voting will be implemented in the next national polls despite the absence of a law. Garcia added that COMELEC only needs to report to Congress on the update of the third voting process. Aside from internet voting, voters overseas may cast their votes in embassies or consulates of countries they are living or working and mail voting. Overseas voters can only choose national candidates or president, vice president, senators, and party list representatives.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, the Philippines Department of Health, or DOH, on Monday issued advisories in connection with the ongoing rise in pertussis and measles cases across the country. The DOH advised the public to exercise caution, such as wearing a face mask, cough etiquette, and visiting only well-ventilated areas. DOH Secretary Chodoro Herbosa is actively coordinating with local public health emergency operations centers, or PHEOCs, to ensure a coordinated response. The agency also stressed the significance of vaccination in preventing these diseases, urging individuals to consult healthcare providers for any symptoms or concerns. DOH said its regional units are actively collaborating with local government counterparts to gather updated data on pertussis and measles cases. The DOH's Disease Prevention and Control Bureau is anticipating the arrival of additional vaccine doses. Among the expected doses are 3 million pentavalent vaccines, which protect against pertussis, diphtheria, tetanus, hepatitis B, and Haemophilus influenzae type B.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, we would like to invite everyone to come and visit our Facebook page at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.